Hey guys, it's Victoria. So, I was doing a live stream video like a minute ago, but because they're working on new features for the Hallo app, and I think because other people are also live streaming, my app like shut down, it crashed. So, I don't really know what to do. I like might try it again in a couple minutes. But my camera kept freezing, and I felt like that was really annoying and not super great for learning. So I'm just gonna do the rest of the video here. Actually, I might quickly like go over the first part as well, so it's kind of like a complete lesson. And then I'm gonna post this link in my bio on Hallo. I'm gonna post it in all the chats I have, so if you're a subscriber, like you're safe. And hopefully people can do this because this is a great way to like learn lots of words quickly. So, okay. So yes, we're talking about Greek roots in this lesson. A root is a word, in this case, like there are prefixes and there are suffixes. Prefixes are like things that come at the beginning of words, and suffixes are things that come at the end of words. Roots can also be in the middle though, but basically a root, every time you see like a particular root, you know what that root means and it can help you understand the word as a whole. So the one I started with was bio, and bio means life. And so the words we went over were biographical, biology, biohazard, and biodegradable. So notice that all those words, if you had no idea what they meant, but at least you knew bio meant life, you could kind of guess and start working there and remember more easily. Like here are four words that all mean something similar to each other. So then the second root we did was anti, which means opposite or against. And so we talked about the word antiseptic, antibiotic, antidote, antifreeze, anticlimactic, antiperspirant. Oh, I don't even know if we got to those words. I think that's where my camera started freaking out. Antiperspirant, though, is like, so there's deodorant. Antiperspirant, specifically, like to perspire means to sweat. And so, anti, opposite of sweating, it keeps you from sweating, stop sweating. So that's why we wear deodorants in America that are usually also antiperspirants, because we don't like to sweat. We find that gross, so we don't. Yes, antiperspirants. And then another word that uses anti is antisocial. So against being social are people that are not social, right? Antisocial people, like you won't go to parties or you won't talk to people. You kind of just keep to yourself. That's what antisocial means. Okay, so those were two roots. Yeah, I think I missed antiperspirant, antisocial when I was doing my live stream. So then another root is bi, and bi means two. And so this is really common, like if you know the word bicycle, that's like an easy way to remember it. Or if you already knew that bi meant two, then it helps you understand the word bicycle, right? Because a bicycle has two wheels. So got your bicycle all cool. But yes, we also talked about binoculars, which are those two lenses to see far away. Binoculars, biceps, this muscle right here. I don't really have any arm muscles. Sorry guys, I need to go to the gym, work out so you can see my biceps. And bilingual. And I was mentioning before that bilingual is kind of the goal of the Hallo app. We want people to know their native languages, but also to learn English. So bilingual means that you know two languages. So I'm currently bilingual. I speak English and Japanese. I'm trying to become trilingual because I'm also trying to learn Spanish. So yes, let's go. Let's all be bilingual at least. So yes, so the next root we went over was sub. This is where I really started having problems with my other video. Sub means under or from below. So sub, like down, beneath. So yes, so some words that we talked about were subject, like if you have a king, there's the king's subjects. It's the people that are under the king, the people that have to respond to the king. So like there's the whole kingdom, and then there's like the subjects, and those are just like the normal people. But yes, they have to honor the king and like all of that. So then the word sequent comes from sequence, and a sequence is like something done in a certain order. So subsequent, you're like, oh, so that's the next thing in that sequence. So subsequently, like, I went to the store and subsequently I bought a candy bar. Like, the next thing to happen once I went to the store was I subsequently bought something. It's kind of like a therefore, or after that I did this thing, subsequent. Subterranean, terra, means like earth, and so subterranean means like below the earth, so like subterranean travel. I think this is also like if you've ever been to New York or places like that, right? In America, we have subways, so that's another word. It's not even on this list. I forgot about it, but yes, like a subway would be considered subterranean, but it's like those trains that are underground. I think other countries have those. Like in Japan, they have like the Tokyo Metro, which I feel like is also a subway. I think we would call that a subway in America. I don't know what makes something a metro. But yes, there's trains that go underground because sub, right? Sub means under. So it's your way underground, your subway. Subway is also a sandwich shop. Like if you live in America or have been to America, and maybe other countries have subways, but yeah, subways are like a sandwich place. So not my favorite. Some people really like it. Like my brother loves Subway sandwiches. I just feel like they're sandwiches. Like if I want a sandwich, I'll make a sandwich at home. Yes. Two more words for sub. One is subside. I'm not really sure why I put this word on here. Like for something to subside just means for it to like kind of go away. Like her illness subsided, or like her sickness subsided. Like I guess, yeah, it went under, it went below, it died down, it got lower. Like her fever subsided. I think that like might be one of the only times I would use this. Like if your temperature is really high, like you had a fever and then it went down, like that's what we mean by subside. And then the last word I included, because I'm a law student, so this is like a really advanced word. You don't have to remember this, but subpoena is a word that uses this root. When you subpoena someone, that means that you like require them to come to court to give their witness. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you're ever watching like a movie that has to do with legal stuff, like a court, and they say the word subpoena, then you can remember like, oh, like I remember Victoria taught me that word once. Subpoena. Okay. I think that was that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just kidding, that was 4. So that's 4 roots. We got 5 more to go. Hopefully this video won't be like super long. The goal was to be like 50 words in under an hour. I definitely think we'll hit that. And you can like play this video over and over again and practice. And again, if you're a subscriber to me here on YouTube or on Hallo, then you can get the word list, and then you can have them to practice, and you can like make flashcards or try and use them in sentences, and you'll sound so good. You'll sound so bilingual, guys. So the next root is trans, which means across or through. So transparent. So when something is transparent, it means you can see through it. So like your windows hopefully are transparent, right? Like you can see through them. Or like anything that's like clear, like that you can still see through. It could be colored. I'm trying to think of like, I don't have anything near me right this second that's transparent, but like colored. But it could be, oh wait, let me grab something. this is a soap dispenser, but you can see through it, right? Like you can see the middle piece in it, but it's blue. But this would still be considered like transparent, at least a little bit, because like light can go through it. So yes, trans means through, so like the light can go through it. It's transparent. Transfer. I think this makes a lot of sense, like to transfer something from one place to another. That means to like take it across, or I know like here, like with if you're taking the city bus somewhere and you need to get to one place, but that bus doesn't go to that place, you can get off the bus, and it's called a transfer. It's like you can be on one bus and then get off that bus and transfer to another bus, get on another bus, without having to pay again, because you're still going one place. You're going through to another bus. So that's a transfer. When I lived in Japan, we used the word transfer to describe like where we were, like how long we had lived somewhere, like because we would transfer, we would like move where we were every couple like months or so. So I lived in like 6 different cities. So every time I moved, I would say I transferred. Like I transferred to Hiroshima. I transferred to Fukuoka. Like that basically was just a word for I moved. Like I transferred. Okay, another word is transport. I think this is like maybe the most familiar word here. Transport, like transportation. A car is transportation. An airplane's transportation. All these things, because they transport you. And to transport means to take across, like to move you again. So, like, transportation. Wish we had teleportation. That would be just like instant, like jump somewhere. That would be cool. But no, we don't have that yet. We just have transportation. So, transcribe. So to transcribe something is to, like rewrite that thing. I'm gonna look up a definition really quickly to see if the internet can explain that more clearly. Transcribe, to put thoughts into written or printed form. That's what the Google tells me. Transcribe. Basically, yeah, I think to like actually write out, like scribe means to write, so that makes sense. And trans, to take across. So to take this idea that you have and to actually write it down is to transcribe something. Sorry, I have to re-pull up my list. Okay, and then transpose. Transpose usually is used when it comes to like music. If music is in a certain key, if you want to play it in a different key, you have to transpose it. That means you have to take it across to another key and like change the music. So I am not good at transposing. I probably should be better at it because I've studied violin for like a bunch of years, but I was never that good at music theory. So yeah, I let other people transpose things for me if I need it. Okay, and the last word that we have for this root is translucent. Very similar to transparent. Basically, again, like that you can see through it. Translucent. It allows light. Okay, according to the internet, translucent is the same as semi-transparent. So maybe this is probably actually translucent. Because it like lets it lets like most light through, but it's not like completely like easy to see. Like I don't think you can see my hand like perfectly behind here. Probably not. Yeah. So this is probably translucent. Transparent would be something like really like you can absolutely see behind it. So like a window. There you go. Okay, so that's 5. So now we're definitely like over halfway. That's also been 26 words. So good on you. Great job studying. These ones will all be easy. So we've already studied by, which means 2. And now we're going to study try, which means 3. So, also quick note though, because I know, so like In Japanese Sign Language, this means 4, which also can mean like death. Uh, I do 3s like this instead of like I think most Americans probably say 3 like this. But I studied American Sign Language, and this is a 6 in American Sign Language. So that's why I do 3 like this. I'm not trying to like invoke death or like be rude or anything. I'm just saying that like for me, this is like how I represent 3. And if you saw like a deaf person in America, like this also would mean 3 and this means 6. So like 6. This also means a W. Maybe I'll do a video on like finger spelling. That might be fun. If you guys want to learn how to like spell things out in American Sign Language, it's kind of fun. And then like numbers. But yes, so this is what I mean by 3. I'm not like trying to be a gangster or like be rude. So yes, try means 3. So I'm just gonna say all these words, and I think most of them will be familiar to you, or you'll be able to figure them out. Tricycle, it's like a bicycle, but it has 3 wheels, used by little kids, right? Like tricycles. Triceps, so these are your biceps. Your triceps are like back here somewhere. I really don't have triceps. Triathlon, so like a marathon, you probably are familiar with the thon part of it, is like a sporting event, right? It's a race. You run a marathon. I don't know what it is in kilometers. It's 26.2 miles. That's what we do in America, is in miles. But a triathlon means 3 sports. And so a triathlon is a race where you swim, you bike, and you run. So 1, 2, 3, yeah. Triathlons. I used to run triathlons when I was like a little kid. If you guys have ever heard of an Ironman is like a really hard race where it's a triathlon, but it's scaled up to a marathon. So it's like 2.4 miles of swimming, 112 miles of biking, and 26.2 miles of running. So it's like, that would literally take me probably like a week to do. Like even if I like tried like from start to finish to do that, I'm just like not in shape to do that. You really have to be like super healthy and like super fit to do that. But my college, back when I was in university, does something called a lazy Ironman. It's a triathlon, but it's like they let you do all of the requirements for an Ironman over the course of a month. So just like whenever you can, you go swimming or you go biking, you go running. So I've done that a couple times. It's fun. Still pushes me a lot because you have to run like, so many miles every day. And like the biking just takes forever. Like 112 miles it's quite a lot of biking. So yes, triathlons, triangles, right? It's a shape, triangle. Has 3 sides, which is why it has the word or the root tri in it. Triple. To triple something means to make it 3 times as large. Like if I'm baking cookies and instead of making 1 dozen, I want 3 dozen, then I triple the recipe and I use 3 times the amount of everything to bake my cookies. And then the last word I included with this root was trilogy. A trilogy is a group of books. It's like a series of books where there are 3 books. And I really love trilogies. They're actually like one of my favorite ways because it's more than 1 book. Like 1 book's good, but if you really like love those characters in that story, you want there to be more books on it. But sometimes I think authors write too many books. I think like Harry Potter's okay. Like 7 books I can deal with, but like there's some book series. Like Magic Treehouse was a book series I loved when I was like a kid. But they have like over 100 of them. And after a while, you just like can't, like you just can't keep reading a book. Like you kind of just like need it to end somewhere. And so that's why I like trilogies. It's because you get a whole story, you get multiple books, but it's just 3. Like it's gonna end somewhere. And then you can like go on and read other stories. Like there's no reason to write 100 books for the same story. Um, yes, sorry, that was like my rant. I'll try and go through the other ones more quickly. So the next root is uni, which means one. So notice kind of a theme here. We've talked about bi, which means two. We've talked about tri, which means three. And now we're talking about uni, which means one, right? But how many words do you know that start with uni? I think you'll be surprised. So the first one's unicycle. So we've talked about bicycle. We've talked about tricycle. So a unicycle, right? It has one wheel. It's like I've never used a unicycle, but I do have a friend that like does unicycling. But yeah, you've probably seen them with like carnivals or circuses or I don't know, like in parades. I feel like that's where I see unicyclists is like in parades, like 4th of July parades and stuff like that here in the United States. Okay, unicorn. I don't know why. I don't know where corn comes from here. It's not corn like the food, but unicorns, right? Like the animals, mythical animals that are like horses, but they have one horn, so that's why it's uni. Maybe it used to be unicorn. Wouldn't that be funny? And then somehow it just got changed to unicorn. I'm not saying that like I think that actually is how that happened, but like it could have been, right? Like that sounds reasonable. Unicorns. Unity. You've probably heard the word unity, like when you're unified with people. When you have unity, it means you work together, you work as one. So there you go, unity. Universe. Because the universe is this one place, like everything is in the universe, right? So that's one place, universe. University, right? Like I just talked to you about going to college. I went to university. That's one culminating place, one big place where we go to study, where like all this knowledge is, and so it's a university. I think the city part of it, like the SITY ending of university, might actually might have something to do with the idea of like cities, like it's this location. And also, I mean, it does have the same, it is university, universe, so similar to universe by itself. I think it's cool, like with Brigham Young University, where I did college specifically, we like have a motto where we say like the world is our campus, because we have students from all over the world, and like our goal is to like really help like go serve other countries and like help like not just stay where we like went to school, like not just stay in Provo, Utah, but like to go out and like have a global impact. So the world is our campus, and I think that makes a lot of sense with the word university, like the whole universe, like let's go. And the school newspaper for BYU is called the Daily Universe. Doesn't even come out daily. That's like an old name. It comes out once a week, but it was called the Daily Universe when it got started. And like our mascot at BYU is Cosmo the cougar, and Cosmo is like a word for like space, like the cosmos. So yeah, like a lot of universe space themey words with BYU, but exactly for that reason, because we want to be united, we want to be one. Okay, and one more word that uses uni is unique. So when you're unique, you're special, you are the only one that is you. So like you are unique. We talk about it a lot, like snowflakes are unique. No snowflake is ever the same. So they're unique. They're the only one that looks exactly the way they do. And so you are unique. Even if you don't feel like you are, you are. Okay, so this is a good one. I don't think a lot of us, like when I was looking at this, I didn't actually like think about it as being a root, but it is. So this root is super, and super means over or above. You can think like Superman, right? Like he flies above Superman. But yes, so some words that use this, superb If something's superb, it means it's awesome, it's wonderful. I think I've used this kind of similar to like, if I was talking about food, like it doesn't mean delicious, but I feel like it can be used in place of the word delicious. You know, if someone makes you this like super good meal, you can tell them, you know, that was superb, that was awesome, that was great. So definitely like, I think it has to do with, yeah, like above your expectations, relating that back to the root. You probably have heard this next word, superstar, you know? You're not just a star, you're a superstar. Like you are above a star. You are like a super famous celebrity. You are Taylor Swift, you are Justin Bieber, you are, you know, a superstar. I think that's what a lot of people want to be. You want to be famous. But then there's also supermodels. You're not just a model, you're above a model. You are like the Gigi Hadid, you're the Kendall Jenner, you are like the top models. I feel like I'm saying that and I only know like models from America, so like I'm probably not the best one to speak on supermodels because I feel like the rest of the world probably has like more famous models than we do, but sorry, I just like don't follow models really. But yes, so people that are models, but then are like really famous, like career models, that's a supermodel. Supernatural is a word I have on this list. So things that are natural, like normal, right? But then to be over natural or above natural, supernatural, are things like ghosts or other weird things. Things that aren't natural are supernatural. Things that are like possessed or other things like that. Like we would consider that supernatural if it's not just like already happening in nature. That becomes a supernatural act. So yeah, if you see any ghost, that would be considered supernatural activity. Okay, next word is superintendent. That's someone, so intendant. I feel like it's similar probably to the word flight attendant, right? Like to attend to someone. I'm not sure why it's with an I, but superintendents are people, it's like when you go to school, you have your students, you got your teachers, you got your principal, they're in charge, but then like for a bunch of schools in like an area, you have someone called a superintendent, and they're like above the principals at each school. They're like in charge of that whole district. So yeah, that's their job, is to attend to people. They're like the higher up, the like super above superintendent. And last word for this root, and then we're almost done. There's only one more root after this, guys, and just like 5 more words, and then you have it. That's 50 words. It's only been like a half hour. The last one, though, for super is superficial. If you're superficial, that means you're really concerned with looks. You're pretty vain. People always complain that girls are superficial because we'll wear like makeup and we care about clothes and we only date guys that we think are hot. That's like superficial, you know, you don't care about what type of person someone is or whether or not they do good. That's considered being superficial. So, okay, last root. We can do this. 5 more words and you got this. And then I'll review just the roots and you can come back as many times as you want and practice these 50 words. And there you go, like 50 words in an hour, under an hour for sure. So the last one is multi. And I think this will also be pretty easy. Multi means many. So to skip to the bottom of the list, multilingual. We already talked about this, right? Bilingual means you know 2 languages. You could say trilingual, that means 3 languages. After trilingual, I don't think we ever really specify. Like we don't say quadrilingual or pentalingual, which would mean 4 and 5 languages. I think that just becomes awkward. I think above 3 for a lot of things, we're like, oh, there's just a lot. And so we would say you're multilingual at that point. You know many languages. Yes. And then to go back to number 46, multitude. Multitude is a crowd of people. Like there's a bunch of people. There are many people. That's called a multitude. Kind of an old-fashioned word. I don't think we use that a lot. Now we'd say there was a crowd. Back in like the Bible, I think a lot of times they use the word, there was a multitude gathered. Multimedia. I think this is a word that a lot of people are familiar with. Multimedia means it has many types of media. Like what you're watching right now is technically multimedia because you can see me, you can hear me, you can like interact with it. And media, obviously, like if you're familiar with the term social media, like Facebook or WhatsApp or things on your phone, like that's any type of media that you can interact with is social media. But multimedia just means like things on computers or making videos or yeah. I mean, Hollow itself would be social media, but it's also multimedia because again, you can like listen, you can see things, you can do many things. The next word is multiply. So when you multiply something, you make it many times that thing. So like if I multiply something by 3, obviously you're making it more. Now you have many of those things. I want to multiply the money in my bank account. I want to have more money right now. Multifaceted, that is a more advanced word. So hopefully if you already are like really killing it with the English, if you're really good at English, then this is a new word, hopefully, at least for you. Multifaceted is someone that has more to them than just like one thing. And so I want to say this is like kind of the opposite of being superficial. Someone that's very multifaceted, maybe they ride horses, but they also play football and they know lots of things about movies and they just like they have many things going on for them. I feel like it's generally positive. I'm trying to think though, like, I feel like there are certain times where maybe it could be seen as negative, like if you're like multifaceted, but in a bad way, like you're angry and you're sad and you're like doing all these bad things. But I feel like that's not generally how we use it. I think multifaceted is more like you're well-rounded, you have good things going on for you. You've got many different personality traits. You want to be multifaceted. And yeah, we already talked about multilingual. That was it. That's 50 words, guys. So 9 roots. I'm just going to read those off and then we're going to be done with this video and I'll like write the words in using video editor and then I'll post it to YouTube and we'll call it a day, I guess. But please subscribe because since I'm not on the Hallo app right now, I'm not able to like be receiving tips. But it would like really help me out if you guys could, use some Hallo coins to support me or just to support other teachers. Like go find someone that you want to subscribe to. It means the world to us to have subscribers, to know what you guys want. If you want more videos like this, again, I have a whole nother list of 50 words I can do, and so many others. But this is a great way to study. Make studying roots a part of your language plan, and you can learn so much more vocabulary in a shorter amount of time. So yes. But also let me know, like, yeah, if you just want to sing songs with me, like, we can do that too. So let me know what you guys want to see in the future. And I love all of you. I'm Victoria. Thanks for joining me. So the roots, really quickly. Bio means life. Anti means opposite. Bi means to. Sub means under. Trans means across. Tri means 3. Uni means 1. Super means over or above. Multi means many. And there you go. That was 9 roots, 50 words. So, bye.